Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Indecom probing inmate's death in custody at Negril Police Station. The Independent Commissioner of Investigation, Indecom, has started an investigation into the death of 24-year-old Rico Brevet at the Negril Police Station lockup in Westmoreland on March 19, 2021. The investigation is being led by investigators from Indecom's Western Regional Office. In a release, Indecom said the police reported that Brevet and another inmate, who were housed in separate cells, were each given permission to use the sanitary facilities. It is reported that shortly afterwards, there were screams for help and the responding officers saw the other inmate over Brevet, who was injured in an attacking position. Brevet was transported to the Savannah Lamar Hospital with a stab wound and was pronounced dead at the medical facility. A makeshift metal jammer was reported recovered from the incident scene. The scene was processed by Indecom, and all the relevant police records and daily entries were inspected and documented. The commissioner said the relevant police officers were served with Section 21 notices for statements and interviews later this week. Persons with information about the incident are being asked to call Indecom at 876-968-8875, 876-961932, or send information via WhatsApp at 876-553-5555. Is Kingston cops bag AK-47 rifle in Harborview? Police personnel from the Kingston East Division seized an AK-47 assault rifle in Texaco District, Bayshore Park, Harborview in Kingston 17 area on Sunday, March 21. Reports are that about 11:30 a.m. an operation was carried out at a premises where the firearm was found in the roof of a building. No one was arrested in connection to the find and seizure. Investigations are ongoing into the development. Tougher COVID-19 measures announced by Prime Minister. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has implemented tougher restrictions aimed at combating the continued surge of the coronavirus on the island. Holness said while Jamaica's case fatality rate of 1.5% is below the global average, the number of deaths due to COVID-19 has started to have a psychological and emotional impact on the society. In a press conference from Jamaica House on Sunday afternoon, he also pointed out that the nation's hospitals are stretched, with bed spaces now well over capacity. In that regard, Holness said the government is forced to act by instituting stronger measures. He announced that effective Tuesday, March 23rd to Friday, March 26th, the nightly curfew hours will remain 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. On Friday, March 26, workplaces will be required to close at 12 noon. The exceptions will be for the essential services, medical establishments, supermarkets, wholesale stores, pharmacies, restaurants, and other food establishments. They will remain open in keeping with the timeline for the curfew hours beginning at 8 p.m. A weekend lockdown will then commence as on Saturday, March 27, with the curfew beginning at 12 noon and continuing through the rest of Sunday and the entire day on Sunday. The curfew will end at 5 a.m. on Monday, March 29. From Monday, March 29 to Wednesday, March 31, the curfew will commence at 8 p.m. nightly to 5 a.m. on Holy Thursday. Also on Holy Thursday, April 1, workplaces will be required to close at 12 p.m. except for essential services, medical establishments, supermarkets, wholesale stores, pharmacies, restaurants, and other food establishments. The curfew will then commence at 8 p.m. on Holy Thursday and continue throughout the entire day on Good Friday. It will end at 5 a.m. on Saturday, April 3rd. But the curfew on Saturday, April 3rd will begin at 12 p.m. and continue throughout the rest of Saturday, the entire day on Easter Sunday, the entire day on Easter Monday, and end at 5 a.m. on Tuesday, April 6. Also on that day, the curfew will commence at 8 p.m. nightly to 5 a.m. up to Saturday, April 10. However, on Friday, April 9, Workplaces will be required to close at 12 p.m. to facilitate persons to conduct their shopping to prepare for the tighter weekend curfew. The curfew will then kickstart later on Saturday at 12 p.m., extending to the entire day on Sunday and ending at 5 a.m. on Monday, April 12, 2021. On what has been described as no movement days, Holness said persons will be allowed to seek urgent medical care, and those who have overseas travel plans can make their way to or from the airports. Meanwhile, despite the extended curfew hours, the island's vaccination program is to continue. Certain vaccination sites will remain open during curfew hours and on no movement days. In relation to the control entry protocols, the existing procedures, including the requirement for all travelers to present a negative COVID test result that was conducted within 3 days of travel, are to be extended to June 30. The pre-testing requirement does not mean that the travelers do not need to quarantine for 14 days after arrival, Holness stressed, adding that the 14-day self-quarantine period still applies and it is extremely important that persons do so. The existing ban on direct flights from the United Kingdom will be extended to April 13, 2021. Importantly, travelers from the UK coming through other countries will be required to test on arrival and await the test results in state quarantine at their own cost. If the test is negative, they will be required to complete the rest of their 14-day quarantine period at home. If the test is positive, they will remain in isolation until they recover. A number of other COVID-related protocols were also announced as follows. The age limit for the stay-at-home measure remains at 60 until April 13, 2021. Workplace clusters are increasingly becoming a grave matter of concern. The existing work-from-home directive in the public sector is being extended until April 13, 2021. As a reminder, the permanent secretaries and heads of agencies are directed to ensure that only persons who work in critical service delivery and perform job functions that require them to be at the physical location should be at the office. For the private sector, employees should allow all persons who can work from home to do so. Employees may still request to work from home in circumstances where they have an underlying illness which is not under control or where they can make no alternative arrangement to care for a child, elderly or ill family member, or someone who has a disability. Employers are not to require employees who have COVID-19 symptoms to report to work. The public gathering limit will remain at 10 persons until April 13. Public sector's entities are reminded that social events, handing overs, launches, groundbreaking, opening ceremonies, or any other similar events are prohibited until April 13, 2021. For markets and vending in public arcades and public transportation centers, operation hours will be 1 hour after the end of curfew to 1 hour before the start of curfew. Therefore, when the curfew ends at 5 a.m., markets will be opened at 6 a.m. When the curfew starts at 8 p.m., markets must close at 7 p.m. On Saturdays, when the curfew starts at 12 noon, markets close at 11 a.m. Markets remain closed on Sundays and public holidays, including Good Friday and Easter Monday, until April 13, 2021. Operation of public transportation will continue and drivers conductors are allowed to be on the road 1 hour before and 1 hour after curfew, but be reminded that no passengers are to be in the vehicles during those periods. There should be no face-to-face instruction in all primary and secondary schools, public and independent, until April 13, 2021. Students are to be instructed using other modalities. As for clarity, note that this includes students who are to sit exit examinations. Funeral services will still not be allowed during the period ending April 13, 2021. The existing restrictions on funerals and burials will continue until Tuesday, March 23rd. As of Wednesday, March 24, until April 13, burials will be allowed on Mondays to Fridays only during the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. Only 10 mourners will be allowed, and additional 5 members can be present who comprise officiating clergy, grave diggers, and undertakers. The time for conducting the burial is not to be longer than 30 minutes. However, no burials will be allowed on Good Friday and Easter Sunday. Until April 13, services will be permitted for places of worship during the hours 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. A maximum of 12 persons, including officiating clergy and IT personnel, may be physically present to facilitate electronic broadcasts from the place of worship. To ensure this is done in an orderly manner, applications are to be submitted to the police divisional commander of each parish through the police station closest to the place of worship, with the list of no more than 12 persons who will be involved in the services. As of April 6, the cap on the number of persons permitted at a marriage ceremony will be reduced from 25 to 15. This will be in place until April 13. Beaches that are not under organized management and control and rivers will remain closed until April 13. Zoos, parks, gyms, attractions, and bars are subject to the existing restrictions and must close 2 hours before the curfew during the period ending April 13. Amusement or gaming arcades that are not licensed under the Betting, Gaming and Lottery Act must be closed for the period March 23 to April 13. Indoor cinemas and establishments that stage theatrical or artistic performances will remain closed from March 23, 2021 to April 13, 2021. The ban on events such as concerts, parties, tailgate parties, and round-robins continue until April 13. Annual general meetings or executive general meetings of companies and general or special meetings of cooperative societies, friendly societies, or industrial or provident societies are not to be held from March 23 to April 13 unless the court has authorized a fully virtual meeting. Mike Henry eyes retirement amid ongoing work on his memoir. Having attained 10-star general status politically after securing a historical 10th term as Member of Parliament for Central Clarendon last year, Lester Michael Mike Henry on Thursday signaled that he is making plans to exit representational politics. Henry, in a Facebook post entitled "Retirement and Beyond," did not provide any timeline indicating when he would end his decades-long political career. As I gradually unfold my plans for retirement from representational politics, having served over 40 years, I look back and look forward to what drove me into politics and what still drives me, posted Henry. With all that in mind, I have started the process of putting out my memoirs in segments of what I think were game-changing positions that could have had great impact on the country's development, he shared. The veteran politician went on to explain that I have already written the first stanza of my political journey in my autobiography, Many Rivers to Cross. And I am now putting the other areas of my political belief into their own volumes, such as reparation, the multimodal transport concept, inclusive of Vietnam Field and railway restoration, along with the Air Jamaica opportunities, and the vision beyond the Herb Mackenzie Stadium in Clarendon, he elaborated. Throughout his political career, Henry, and one of the top regional publishers, have been a strong advocate for reparation for the descendants of enslaved persons in Jamaica as well as the wider Caribbean. Additionally, he has made strident efforts to revive the passenger rail service in Jamaica during his stints as Minister of Transport and Work and Transport and Mining in the Jamaica Labour Party JLP administrations from 2007 to 2011 and from 2016. In relation to his memoirs, the 85-year-old politician explained that aside from the planned publications that have been stated above, there will likely be another chapter to round things off. The small but resoundingly spellbinding chapter will carry the concept that has driven me along the way, he indicated. Thank you, my friends and family, for the continued support, and please do stay tuned to future posts on my social media pages and books to be launched and released on my life's work, visions and perspectives, Henry ended his Facebook post. Outside of politics, Henry is a longtime author and chairman of LMH Publishers Limited. The veteran publisher started his political career in 1976 when he challenged O.D. Ramtali for a parliamentarian seat in Clarendon but lost by 884 votes. 4 years later, Henry turned the tables on Ramtali, beating him by 3,475 votes and claiming the seat for the JLP. In that election, the JLP defeated the People's National Party by winning 51 of the 60 seats in Parliament. Henry's winning spur in central Clarendon would go unbroken, even amid the unusual ambitious talk, including from his opposition in the September 3, 2020 general elections that has gripped on his constituency as one-in. The PNP's Zuleika Jess declared that she would pose a serious challenge to Henry, but that did not materialize as Henry taunched Jess at the poll with 6,745 votes to her tally of 3,742. Despite another victory at the polls, the veteran politician did not feature in Prime Minister Andrew Holness' 19-member cabinet. Prior to then, Henry held several key positions in previous JLP governments. Aside from the transport and work and transport and mining portfolios, Henry served briefly in 2020 as Minister of Labour and Social Security following the death of his predecessor, Shayini Robinson. Prior to that appointment, under Prime Ministers Bruce Golding and Andrew Holness, Henry was a minister without portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister, Minister of Transport and Mining from February 2016 to March 2018, and Minister of Transport and Works from 2007 to 2011. During the tenure of Edward Seaga as Prime Minister, between 1980 and 1989, Henry served as Minister of State of Tourism for 1981 to 1983 and Minister of State for Culture from 1983 to 1989. When the JLP formed the opposition from 1989 to 2007, Henry was the Shadow Minister of Local Government from 1989 to 1993, Shadow Minister of Transport from 1993 to 2007, and Chairman and Member of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament from 1997 to 2007. He also served 4 years as Chairman of the JLP. In 2019, Henry was awarded the Order of Jamaica (OJ) for his 40 years of distinguished service to public service, politics, and public policy development. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.